All right. And we are starting. So welcome. I'm Angela Atkins, and I'm so happy to have you with me today. I'm glad you've taken this time to learn about the secrets of my nutrition prescription. It's a totally new way of thinking and integrating health into your life without struggle. This is all about changing your relationship with food forever. So what you're about to discover is how you can start losing weight in just as little as 1 week. You'll learn how to get re-energized to reach your goals. And you'll learn how to banish those constant cravings that hold you back. You're going to learn how to take charge of your health and change your relationship with food so that you're in control rather than the food controlling you. And you'll also learn a sense of self-esteem that you haven't felt in years, and it'll build your confidence to feel sexy at any age. So is this webinar for you? Are you the kind of person that makes a promise to stick to your diet and then never does? So when you're dealing with emotional situations, do you turn to food like I did? I used to come home from work and I'd be so stressed out. I would grab the first thing I could find, like a box of cookies, and then I would proceed to eat the entire box just to make me feel better. Do you think about food all the time, whether it's what you should eat or what you shouldn't eat? Are you unable to stop eating once you've started? Just like me, I would start that box of cookies and then I couldn't stop until they were all gone just to make me feel better. So are you tired of taking medications for every symptom that you have? I used to take many prescription drugs. Each symptom that I would present to a doctor, they'd always have a pill. But a pill for every ill is not the ideal way to live a healthy life. So if you answered yes to 2 or more of these questions, then this webinar is designed just for you. What you're about to learn is the secret of nutrition, because it's a way that you've been programmed to think about nutrition and dieting is exactly what's stopping you from having success. That's right. What you've learned over the many years about nutrition and dieting is the very thing that's keeping you from losing weight. But this webinar is not for you if you're the type of person who really wants to continue eating fast food and packaged meals. But nutrition is fast and easy, plus it's good for you. But this isn't for you if you're the type of person who wants to cook all of your meals in a microwave. But nutrition aligns with the demands of your time, and you can make nutritious meals in 15 minutes or less. But this isn't for you if you want to stay unhealthy and keep all that extra weight you've gained and continue taking all that prescription medications. But if you're ready to look and feel better, then nutrition is for you. And it clearly is, because you're here tonight. So how is nutrition different? Well, it's different than every other diet out on the market because there's no dieting. There's no calorie restrictions, no counting points. This is a life-changing shift in how you think and how you live. But it isn't some short-term gimmick or the diet of the week, but rather a long-term way to build a healthy life. And yes, you can even enjoy chocolate-covered strawberries made the nutrition way. So you could be like Melissa and gain sustainable long-term results. This is what she says. I've tried a variety of ways of losing weight and eating more healthfully in the past, but nothing I tried was sustainable long-term. Implementing Angela's advice on foods to avoid, foods to embrace, emotional responses to food, etc., has been just the ticket for me, and as a result, come to a healthy weight, not a diet. I highly recommend Angela. So if you're like Melissa and you've tried many ways of losing weight and thought you were eating healthy, but nothing was working, you are going to love what you learn about nutrition and the program to set you free, just like it did for Melissa. Well, let me tell you a little bit about my personal journey. I married very young and had my first child at 19. And because we were on a limited income, it made me very resourceful. When we discovered my oldest daughter had severe food allergies, I knew I could not trust her health to manufactured baby foods. So I began making them myself. And it helped her get through those childhood allergies. But eventually, I became a single mother of 3, and I had to go to work full time. I constantly felt under stress, and I began choosing convenience over my health. I'd rush home, try to throw something in for dinner, and just grab something like a Stouffer's lasagna. I clearly knew what to do because I did it for my daughter, but I wasn't taking care of myself at that point. With the stress of a divorce, having to work full-time, raising children on my own, I just let my health take a back seat. The demands on my time lasted for such a prolonged period that it made me physically ill. I would struggle to get out of bed every morning, drag myself to work, only to come home to fall asleep on the couch. I'd get up and make dinner, but then I'd go right to bed, and I'd repeat that cycle over and over again for about 5 years. I was living with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue, but it wasn't much of an existence. I was getting through my day, but I really wasn't living. But throughout all of this, I didn't pay attention to my body. And even when I had an appendicitis, I figured it was just a pain that would pass. But when it didn't go away and my doctor sent me directly to the ER because my appendix had burst and now it was life-threatening, I realized I was not paying attention to my body. And now I had to have emergency surgery, and it took me so long to recover because I let my health go so long without taking care of myself. And then after that, probably just a couple of months, I had an acute attack of glaucoma. Who knew that the food I was eating could affect my eyesight? Now, you hear that carrots are good for your eyes, but that's about all. Now, I know, as you're listening to me, I believe there's certain things about you. You're busy. You get a pain in your stomach and you say, I'll deal with it later. But I don't want you to end up in the hospital. I don't want you to end up having surgeries like I did. And that's why I offer you kudos for being on this webinar and educating yourself and learning about the way to deal with getting healthy again. This is about course correction for your final healthy life. Well, my final straw came when I was diagnosed with celiac disease. For those of you who don't know what celiac disease is, it is a condition that's triggered by eating gluten in foods, and it's an autoimmune condition. So it's a very serious sensitivity to gluten that destroys the lining of your small intestine. Now, I know you hear a lot of things about gluten these days, and you know it's in grains and pastas and breads, but did you know it's in a lot of other things? Well, to top everything off, I gained over 50 pounds and became the heaviest I had ever been at almost 200 pounds. Now, that would be okay if I were 6 foot tall, but at 5'3", I was just way too heavy. So after I gained all that weight, I tried every diet I could think of, every weight loss gimmick, anything anybody would tell me that would try to help me lose weight, I would do. I struggled. I counted points. I did low glycemic foods. I did hot wraps, and none of them were very successful. I literally starved off 25 pounds by calorie reduction and deprivation. I never felt satisfied, and I always was hungry. I knew this could not be the right way. So when I was diagnosed with celiac disease, that proverbial light bulb came on in my head. It was the food that I was eating that was keeping me sick and fat. But conventional medicine didn't work for me. What I was getting from doctors were pills for every symptom and not getting to the root cause. Since no doctor could figure out what was causing all my symptoms, I would get a prescription. Then they send me to a specialist who would look at me through the lens of their specialty and then write me another prescription. You've probably had the same experience. You go to the doctor with a symptom, and the first thing they want to do is prescribe a medication. Well, because I was miserable about the way I looked and felt, they prescribed me antidepressants. I was having acid reflux, so they prescribed a proton pump inhibitor. And this went on and on and on. I'm sure many of you have had the same thing happen, but I knew there had to be a better way. So here's what I did. I read everything I could find about food and healthy nutrition. And believe me, that wasn't easy because there's so much contradictory information as to what healthy eating is. But here's what I knew. I knew that stress was only one factor, and food was the key component to my health decline. But diets didn't work for me. So I spent countless hours listening to lectures, reading books, everything I could find on nutrition. I knew I had to change my relationship with food. So I made a commitment to healthy nutrition. I was no longer going to use food as some sort of entertainment or a substitute for companionship or even a reward. But that only happened after I finally admitted that I was addicted to certain foods. And for me, that was sugar. And that's why I couldn't stop eating that entire box of cookies. So for all those years that I thought I didn't have any willpower and that made me feel guilty, it was actually a physical reaction in my body making me eat all those cookies. Well, after changing my relationship with food and eating this new way for about 6 months, I felt better than I had in years. I lost 55 pounds without dieting or exercise. I've celebrated my 60th birthday, and I feel my best years are still ahead of me. So, are you ready to adopt a nutrition lifestyle? Remember how I healed myself. I knew stress was only one factor, and that food was the key component in my health decline, but diets didn't work. So after going through all those lectures and all those books and making the commitment to healthy nutrition, I was able to overcome my food addiction, change my relationship with food, and wean myself off of prescription medications. And now I'm ready to show you how to. So how do we get here? I think as mothers, our lives slowly spiral out of control. We're busy trying to juggle work, the kids, a relationship, keep the house clean, a social calendar. Well, that's usually the kids' social calendar, but still, it leaves very little time for us. We need to take time for ourselves. As primary caregivers, we need to give to ourselves first. Then we'll have an abundance to give to others. Now, I know I'm not telling you anything you don't already know or haven't heard before. The problem isn't, yeah, I know, but how can I do it? And that's what I'm going to show you is how to do it. Being healthy is easier than you've been led to believe, and I'm here to bust the myth. Seriously, you have been sold a faulty bill of goods because certain foods are actually addictive. It's not you, it's the food itself. Take a look at the left side of this chart. Here's what I mean by addictive. Addicted is, I couldn't put down that entire box of cookies, or I want pizza every day, or give me more chocolate. Addicted is having that big bowl of ice cream instead of a tiny scoop, and then wanting to go back for more. Seriously, have you ever heard of anybody being addicted to cucumbers? But really, it's not you. It's the food itself. It has properties that cause you to crave it in this fashion. And unfortunately, it's harmful for your body. It's a vicious cycle, and I'm here to help you break that. Take Varsha, for example. She tried a variety of diets before she took my 6-week course. She would even make her own bread using ingredients she thought were healthy, and I'm sure they were the finest ingredients. But what she learned by working with me and the nutrition prescription is that those ingredients do not agree with her unique biochemistry. Now, Varsha realizes that eating for health means eating foods that nourish her in a way her body needs and not what a particular diet prescribes. This is what she says. As a result of working with Angela, I've been able to release 15 pounds and eat foods that I know are healthy uniquely for me. It's not about dieting or calorie restrictions. I learned to change my relationship with food. And I'm sure that's only the beginning for Varsha, because now she understands what healthy means uniquely for her. You know, diets don't work, and you and I both know that. So let me tell you what you'll learn with my 5 nutrition secrets. Well, secret number 1 are the 5 hormones that may be keeping you from losing weight. Secret number 2 is how the healthy foods you're eating may really be creating a food addiction. Secret number 3 is just 3 simple strategies to set yourself up for success. Secret number 4 is eat foods that nourish your body, and they taste great. And secret number 5 is my secret weapon to banish sugar cravings with one single ingredient, and it's delicious. So secret number 1 is know the hormones that are keeping you tired, hungry, and overweight. A few of the health issues which can be caused or worsened by your hormones being out of balance, and you may already be experiencing some of them now, are anxiety, hair loss, headache, weight gain, fatigue, even skin issues like acne or psoriasis. And that's just to name a few. But before you can balance them, you need to understand what these hormones are. So hormone number 1 is Ghrelin. It's the hunger hormone. It's the signal when you know you need to eat. But when it's out of balance, it doesn't turn off and you feel hungry all the time. So tip number 1 is, in order to squelch that Ghrelin gremlin, you need to eat a high volume, nutrient-dense foods to reduce your Ghrelin levels. That's as simple as eating a salad before every meal. Another tip is eating lean protein. Well, there are lots of ways you can do this. Obviously, I can't share everything today, but I'm going to let you know how we can continue working together. Hormone number 2 is leptin. It's called the fat controller. One of the many hormones produced by your fat cells is leptin. It plays a key role in appetite control. When leptin levels aren't working, the brain doesn't get that signal to stop eating. If your leptin levels aren't working, you can become leptin resistant, which means you never feel satisfied. And that's when that Ghrelin gremlin keeps causing your cravings. So tip number 2 is simply to balance that leptin hormone. Start your day with about 30 grams of lean protein for breakfast. That could be an omelet with some leftover veggies and Canadian bacon. Or you could have a protein shake with almond or coconut milk. And if you're not getting enough servings of veggies, put them in your protein shake. And yes, you heard me right. You can have bacon. It's not about being deprived or restricted. It's about making the right choices. So hormone number 3 is for the thyroid. The thyroid gland can be thought of as gland central. It's one of the most important and often mismanaged glands we have working in our body. For women, hormones can shift out of balance during childbearing years, through menopause, and at various times of life, and even under chronic stress, putting that at a higher rate for thyroid conditions than men. Now, the thyroid needs specific vitamins and minerals to properly do its job. So tip number 3 is for the thyroid. One of the minerals needed by the thyroid is iodine. So many people have taken all the salt out of their diets that they're getting virtually no iodine at all. But I'm not talking about the type of iodine in regular table salt. The sea is where it's at when it comes to iodine. Seafood and seaweeds and all sea vegetables are excellent sources of iodine. Add saltwater fish to your diet and use iodized sea salt, not regular table salt. And of course, there are many other vitamins and minerals that are necessary for the proper thyroid function, but that's a little bit more than we're going to go through right now. So the 4th hormone is cortisol, the stress hormone. Now, stress is a natural part of life, but when it's out of control, our lives feel out of control. Cortisol production is increased by the more stress we have. Let's face it, in this day and age, you have stressors everywhere, driving in traffic, emotional up and downs of family life, and so many more. And worst of all, cortisol tends to accumulate in fat cells around your belly. So that flat belly you've been dreaming of is never going to come true once you've got this stressful life, unless you learn how to deal with it in a new way. Well, here's a strategy that I use for dealing with stress. I want you to smell your way to peace and calm using essential oils like I do. You can diffuse essential oils at night in your bedroom to help you get a more restful sleep. And you can diffuse them throughout the day and all over the house for different purposes. There are calming blends that will help you relax. Citrus oils actually help curb your cravings. And to feel balanced, you can use a grounding blend. And it can be so easy. You could use it in the car and it'd help you not be overwhelmed by traffic. And when you're having a bad day, you can use a lifting blend just to feel a little bit more elevated. And when you need that little extra healing measure, you can use a protective blend. It can help you both topically and internally. There are so many different kinds of essential oils, but I only recommend the ones that I use. I use doTERRA oils for their purity backed by science. So hormone number 5 is melatonin, the sleep hormone. A great way to counteract cortisol levels is with an increase in melatonin, which we get from restorative sleep. And it can help keep your weight down. The benefit of regular sleep cycles is that it improves your body's ability to regulate circadian rhythms, which helps with wakefulness during the day and restfulness during the night. So if you're somebody who doesn't sleep well at night, or you get up several times, or you just have restless sleep, not getting enough sleep may actually be making you fat. So tip number 5 is to sleep in the dark. Light disrupts melatonin, so turn off all your lights, including night lights, and don't use electronics for at least 30 minutes before going to bed. This will actually improve the quality of your sleep. Then get 20 to 30 minutes of sunshine without sunscreen within the first hour of waking in the morning. This keeps the cycle of dark and light patterns consistent daily for healthier sleep and stress and weight reduction. So secret number 2 is the healthy foods you're eating may be really causing a food addiction. Again, I go back that you've been sold a faulty bill of goods. Let's take a look at the charts that the government puts out for what you should be eating. 6 to 11 servings of cereal, bread, and pasta. Eating that way was literally killing me. We've been encouraged to eat healthy foods like whole wheat bread, but just one serving of that whole wheat bread is equal to 15 grams of carbohydrates. That's equal to 3 teaspoons of sugar. But at any given time, our body needs about 1 teaspoon of sugar in the blood. That's it, just 1 teaspoon, that's all. Well, here's some statistics that may shock you. On average, an adult consumes about 22 teaspoons of sugar a day. Our children consume about 34 teaspoons a day. But the recommendation is that women keep their sugar intake to 5 teaspoons a day. Is it really any surprise that there's an epidemic of diabetes and obesity and a rise in coronary heart disease and other chronic health issues? You've been told to eat a certain way, which is actually causing health problems. Almost every other commercial on TV is about diabetes or associated neuropathies. The government and pharmaceutical companies have to do that because the food we're eating that they claim to be healthy is actually not. And nutrition is all about busting the myths and sharing with you a new way to enjoy delicious food that won't slowly kill you. Take a look at this. Studies have proven that sugar is 8 times more addictive than cocaine. Just one 12-ounce can of soda is equal to 10 teaspoons of sugar. Now, if you just recall, I just said it's recommended that women keep their sugar intake to 5 teaspoons of sugar a day. So one soda is twice the recommended amount of added sugars. You know, sugar activates the brain in the same way as cocaine, and that can trigger a food addiction. So again, what does it mean to be addicted? It can make you feel out of control, unable to limit the amounts you consume. And you'll continue to consume it despite adverse consequences like bloating or weight gain. And you'll have withdrawal symptoms when you try to stop. And then you're more likely to relapse. And then you develop a tolerance where you need more of it to feel the same effect. Well, these sugary foods send reward signals to your brain, and they override your self-control mechanisms, and that leads to the addiction. Sugar literally hijacks the brain receptors that are meant to regulate your appetite. Now it's not hunger that's calling the shots, but your cravings. Face it, our taste buds have been hijacked by the food industry. They figured out what makes food taste so good, so it just keeps us coming back for more. That addiction to the bread, to the donuts, to the specialty drinks are what unconsciously keeps you from fulfilling that promise to yourself to get healthier, to lose weight, to feel better. And you can't be expected to do it on your own. And that's why I'm here to tell you the truth. Debbie, like many of you, thought she was eating a healthy diet, but since she has learned of nutrition, she now knows the truth. This is what Debbie says why she joined the program. I'm 48 years old, but I was feeling more like a 68-year-old with muscle and joint stiffness and pains that I could not move around properly first thing in the morning. Plus, I suffer from hormonal imbalance. I'm a high energy person normally, but I was crashing and couldn't keep up with the demands of my life. And I had a weight gain of 35 pounds within 1 year, and I just couldn't lose more than 2 or 3 pounds, so I would just give up. This program has truly changed the way I think about food, and I've already seen the results and have no desire to go back to my old ways. Well, Debbie's accomplishment since she started this program is she no longer has joint pains and stiffness. She doesn't crash and burn midday, and her belly fat has been so greatly reduced that her husband began commenting on it. And she lost 10 pounds in just 4 weeks. Debbie learned to truly understand what she was eating and now reads nutrition labels before she purchases anything. She's now turned off by the food she used to enjoy because now she knows what's really going into her body. She no longer constantly thinks about food and only eats when she's actually hungry. She has no cravings, even though there's still junk food in the house for her kids. So here's my philosophy. Just stay away from crap foods. And what are crap foods? They're carbonated drinks, usually with a lot of sugar, and that includes fruit juices. Then there's refined sugars, artificial colors and flavors, and processed products. So secret number 3 is just to use these 3 simple strategies to set yourself up for success. So strategy number 1 is before you go to the grocery store, you need to make a list and you need to stick to it. Shop the perimeter of the store. Those middle aisles is where they get you with the processed and prepared foods. You need to create a plan of action and stick to it. So strategy number 2 is to prepare your own food. If you prepare it as a family and everyone contributes, it's an important component to keeping a family unified. You know, every week my husband and I plan and shop on one day, and then we cook our meals for the week the next day. We have a lot of fun when we share our cooking chores. Quite frankly, with our busy schedules, this really is a time where we get to share something and create memories. And this way works for us because during the weekdays, then we have more time together rather than rushing around trying to make meals and cooking all day. So strategy number 3 is commit. To be truly successful, you must commit to a change in both lifestyle and mindset to transform the current way of living and thinking about food. It will not only improve your quality of health, it will also improve the quality of your life. I've shown you several ways that it can be easier than you once thought to make these healthy changes. And I'm going to continue to share some additional secrets and tools to make this commitment easy for you. But they're not only easy, they're enjoyable. So secret number 4 is eat the foods that nourish your body. Well, let me take a minute and break down the food code for you. There are macronutrients, or those foods that provide calories, which are just energy units. Macro means large, so you need more of them. Nutrients are the substances we need for growth, to fuel our metabolism and other bodily functions. There are 3 macronutrients: proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. Micronutrients we just need in smaller amounts, but they are equally as important. And of course, water is essential to our health. Although not everyone can eat the same foods, here are some examples of proteins. There's lean animal products, wild-caught seafood, pastured eggs, nuts and seeds, and this tempeh is a fermented soy, and that's a good option for those who don't eat animal products. I suggest you eat about 25% of your total daily food intake in lean protein, and of course, it's best if it's organic. So healthy carbohydrates include vegetables, fruits, and it's best when they're in season, and if you're not allergic to them, beans and legumes. Eat about 50% of your total food intake in a rainbow of vegetables. Then you can add in about 5% of fruit. That translates to about 1 serving a day. And again, it's best if it's organic. Here's a side note. Did you know that research has found that people who ate 5 or more servings of vegetables and fruits a day are the happiest and the healthiest? Well, bad science and our flawed governmental system has vilified fats for decades. But without eating the right kinds of fat, you won't lose weight permanently. Healthy fat does not make you fat. Sugar makes you fat. And the most important thing about fat is that it makes food taste good, and you'll stop craving the sugary foods. We'll circle back about healthy fats in a little bit. Now, micronutrients include vitamins, minerals, and trace elements. You know the different types of vitamins there are: A, B, C, D, and K. And trace elements include things like iodine, iron, and chromium, and there's so many more. But when you eat healthy foods filled with these essential nutrients, your diet is filled with the micronutrients and macronutrients. You're not hungry, you're not craving, and you're not addicted to unhealthy foods. The problem is, in this busy, fast-paced society, combined with that faulty bill of goods, we've been dealt to eat fast foods that are processed. And guess what? When they process it, it actually processes out the nutrients. And they artificially put them back in. When they put them back in, you're not getting the same organic benefit as when the foods were originally created for us. So water is the main component of our cells, tissues, and organs, and is absolutely vital for life. Water transports nutrients to the cells and removes toxins from our body. It does so many things we need, such as just regulating our body temperature through sweat. Now, we get about 50% of water we need from our food, such as cucumbers and lettuce and grapefruit and cantaloupe, but we have to add in the other 50%. And it's best to drink about half of your body weight in ounces per day of clean, filtered water. So secret number 5 is, what is the one ingredient that will help you overcome cravings? It's been vilified for years, and it still is, and it's been removed from many of our foods. That's right, healthy fats. You need to add more healthy fat to your diet. Healthy fats are found in olive oil, nuts, cold water fish, and avocados. And if you can have dairy, add butter. Or if not, add ghee. Cook in coconut oil. All these foods will help satisfy your hunger and curb your cravings. Add more healthy fat to your diet. If your food tastes good, you won't crave unhealthy food. And there's no need to ever eat low fat or no fats anymore. Those foods should be gone. And when fat is removed from a food, something else is added for flavor. And many times that's some sort of refined sugar or artificial sweetener. Again, you're being tricked. You're being told not to eat fat and to eat things that don't taste good without it. So instead, if you ate healthy fats, your food would taste good and it would be healthy for you. And lastly, my bonus secret weapon for you is don't go it alone. You and I both know that every Monday morning we wake up committing to make a difference, to eat differently, to get healthier, to be more active. And by Monday afternoon, because of that addiction, we probably have to certain foods, our promise to ourselves is broken. And I'm here to be that support for you because I don't want you to suffer the way that I did. So let's review. We talked about the 5 hormones that keep you from losing weight. And the second secret was how healthy foods that you were eating may really be causing a food addiction. And secret 3 were those 3 simple strategies to set yourself up for success. And then secret 4 was to enjoy the foods that nourish your body, and they taste great. And secret number 5 is that secret weapon to banish sugar cravings with that one single ingredient. And it's delicious. So imagine how great you'll feel when you keep your promises to yourself to get healthier, to lose weight. Remember, it's not a diet. It's a shift to nutrition. Imagine how great it will feel when you learn to cope with emotional situations that don't cause weight gain and guilt. Imagine how great you'll feel when you learn to eat exactly what your body needs and wants. Nutrition will have you feeling full and satisfied and will eliminate those sugar cravings. I hope you've been open to receive this valuable information I've offered during this webinar. And I know there have been books you've read, seminars you've attended, commercials, things you've tried in the past. And I want to let you know how I can support you carrying through on this promise and desire for a healthy life, supported by real food and not pharmaceuticals. So I want to share with you is my Jumpstart Nutrition program. It's not a diet. It's the end of yo-yo weight gain and loss. And it's easy, fast, and provides sustainable results that will help you lose weight, get control of your health, and start to live a life without resorting to medications to control symptoms. In this unique 6-week program, you'll get a customized program based on your unique preferences and needs. Now, one of the reasons your past diets haven't worked for you is that they're designed for the average person. But you're not average. You're unique. This program is designed just for you, and it's got to be in order to work for you. You've got the structure of a proven program. It's easy to follow a system that will fit in your already busy life. You'll get my support and love, step by step, to guide you through to achieve and sustain lasting results so you're not alone anymore. So it's time for you to say goodbye to dieting and hello to nutrition. It's about real food, and it's real delicious. It's not about deprivation. I'm going to show you how easy it is going to be to have the foods to nourish your body and satisfy your taste buds. So let's be partners in success. You'll have 6 weekly group calls, step-by-step modules, a question and answer session to address your ongoing needs. You'll get the nutrition playbook with delicious recipes, time-saving meal plans, and a journal for daily inspiration. You'll have access to a private online group where we'll share your successes and your challenges, and I'll provide ongoing tips and strategies. So here's how it works. In Module 1, you'll learn about the simple food tricks to thrive and keep your body at optimal performance. In Module 2, you'll learn that all foods are not the same. You need to find the right recipe for your body. In Module number 3, you'll find that shopping can be made easy. Module number 4 is getting control of your hormones. In Module 5, you'll learn my philosophy that food is fun. It should be fundamentally unmodified nutrition. In Module 6, you'll learn to heal your body with food. So the nutrition playbook includes delicious recipes. You don't have to sacrifice great taste to lose weight. You've got the time-saving meal plans. It'll keep yourself and your family well fed with ease. There's a daily journal with inspirations, and this will help support your lasting transformation through the power of your chosen thoughts and desires. In that private online group, it'll be moderated by yours truly. We'll share your successes and your challenges. We'll provide ongoing tips and strategies, and we'll tap into the power of group momentum for accelerated results. I want you to know you're not alone. We've got each other's backs. So let's get started. There are the 6 weekly group calls, the step-by-step modules, and the question and answer sessions to answer your ongoing needs. That's a $900 value. Then you'll get the nutrition playbook with those delicious recipes, the time-saving meal plans, and your journal with daily inspiration. That's a $50 value. Then you have access to the private online group where we share those successes and challenges and the ongoing tips and strategies. That's a $300 value. Now that's a total value of $1,250. So let me ask you a question. If all this did for you is what it did for Melissa, that she finally found a program that worked for her after trying countless others, wouldn't it be worth it? And all this did for you is recognize it was the food itself causing you to be overweight and begin releasing those pounds like it did for Varsha. Wouldn't it be worth it? And if all it did for you was kickstart a weight loss of 10 pounds in 4 weeks like Debbie, wouldn't it be worth it? So here's the thing. You know as well as I do, if it's important to you, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. You've been on this webinar for a while now. Clearly, your health and well-being is important to you. I know in the past you've tried, and in the past you've made excuses. Well, I want to invite you to Newtrition so you can feel and experience how easy and joyful it is to create this healthy lifestyle with nutrition. So let's go ahead and get your jump start started. We're going to kick those carbs to the curb. We're going to let the pounds melt away. We're going to release the struggle and anxiety over food, and you're going to discover more energy than you thought was possible. So let me summarize the program for you. We're going to get those 6 weekly calls, and I'm on your side throughout all of this. Let me tell you, my friends, I've been where you are. I don't know what your particular challenge is right now, but I've been through the struggle and I'm on the other side of it. And I want to show you how to get to where I am. So we're going to have those 6 weekly group calls. You'll get the nutrition playbook and the private online group, and the total value there is $1,250. And the special for you, because I'm committed to making sure nutrition is what becomes mainstream and want all of you to be part of this process. So it's only $197. So consider this. If you go to Starbucks every day and purchase a coffee and a muffin, that's about $7 a day. Over 6 weeks, that would be $294. Plus the muffin top you'll probably get from eating all those muffins. But this program would be paid for in less than 30 days just by eliminating that trip to Starbucks and replacing it with nutrition. In your 6-week jumpstart, you'll get delicious recipes, easy to prepare meals, nutrition coaching, community support, and so much more for just $197. And most importantly, your transformation, which is priceless. I'm going to sweeten the pot just a little bit more. I've got 2 extra bonuses I'm going to include: a shopping guide on how to read nutrition labels and a recipe booklet with over a dozen nutrition recipes. Now, that brings our total value to $1,350, and all yours for $175. Now I know you've got the opportunity to do lots of things, and I'm committed to support you in your health goals. And I want you to achieve them by getting you to start and take action today. Any moment you spend in indecision has you continue on the same path to poor nutrition habits. So it's time for you to start your nutrition. So for the first 7 of you who make the commitment and are ready to take action, I'm going to bonus in a one-on-one session with me, in addition to being by your side for the full 6 weeks of the program. So go ahead now and go to Newtrition.guru. That's Newtrition.guru, or call 909-312-6224. If you get the recording, please understand we're assisting somebody else, and please leave your name and number and we'll get right back. Let me tell you, there's no risk to you. Within the first 14 days, if you feel this program is not for you, we have a full 100% money-back guarantee. So I ask you, if not now, when? I believe in you, and now it's time for you to believe in yourself enough to make the investment in your health and well-being. You can make the change. So join the nutrition community and let's be successful together. I look forward to being your partner in success. Go to Newtrition.guru, that's Newtrition.guru, or call 909-312-6224. I'm going to spend a little more time online to answer your questions. I'm going to open up the chat window so you can post them there. So give me just a minute and I'll open that up. Alrighty, so if you've got any questions, go ahead and post them in the chat window and I'll be glad to answer them. Oh, a good question here. During this process, Charlie asked that if he could eat sprouted bread. Now, sprouted bread is a bread that has already the grain in it has been sprouted, so it's easier to digest in your belly. I would say it depends, and that's always the answer, because it will depend on you. And that's why this is designed uniquely for you. You need to understand what your body can tolerate. It might be we start with that and we find that your body cannot tolerate, so we remove it for a period of time to see if we can find out what else is causing any kind of disturbances in your digestive system. Well, thank you, Nancy. I'm glad that these secrets have helped you. And I'm looking forward to helping anyone who's interested. Nancy says, since I learned what worked for me, my cravings are gone. Well, thank you, Nancy. That's great. It's exactly the secret behind nutrition is you learn what works for you individually. And it does stop your cravings because your body is getting the right nutrients. And once it gets the right nutrients, all those other things become unnecessary. Any more questions? Can I help anybody with anything? Well, you're welcome, Zunia. Do you have it? Is there a question? And I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I don't mean to mispronounce it. I'm just pronouncing it just like the letters are spelled, so I hope it's right. Farley wants to know about body chemistry like alkaline. I guess you're talking about the balance between alkalinity and acidity. The body is supposed to be mainly alkaline to promote health. When a body reaches a more acidic point, it's usually when we have more sugar in our diet. It becomes highly acidic, and that's when disease can form. For example, cancer cells feed on sugar, so the more the body is acidic, the more likely that it will cause a problem. So the goal is to bring the body down into the alkaline range. Oh, thank you, Zunia. I appreciate it. I'm so glad I pronounced your name correctly. It's a beautiful name. Is there anything else I can help you with, the questions that you have? I look forward. You can always contact me directly if you have any questions. If you don't feel comfortable asking them in this forum, you can email me. My email address is angela@yourhealthunbound.com. And certainly, I'm more than happy to respond to you directly. If you feel you want to have a session to discuss more specifics for you before you make a commitment, you can go to yourhealthunbound.appointee. That's A, P as in Paul, OINTY.com, and set an appointment. I can even put it in the chat window so you'll have it if you need to look at it later. Okay. All right, everyone. I hope you've gotten some value out of this webinar, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have. And please shoot me an email if you have anything you wish to discuss, or make an appointment, and I'll be glad to comment specifically and set up a strategy session for you. I hope everyone has a great evening. Thank you for joining me this evening. Good night.